Obidinma, sit. I owe you an apology. This company failed you. I failed you. I am not a man who says that easily. But a man who cannot say it when it is true is a man who has decided comfort is worth more than honesty. I am not that man. I appreciate that, sir. More than I can easily say. The position of Deputy Financial Controller is open. It was always yours. It should have been yours 3 years ago. The letter, please.
In the town of Umumma, where the hills roll like sleeping giants and the market never truly closes, there lived a young man named Obidinma Chukwu. Obidinma was the kind of man the morning approved of. He rose before the cockerel found its voice. He dressed with care, not the care of vanity, but the care of a man who respected the work he was going to do. His shirts were always pressed. His ledgers were always clean. His figures never lied. He worked at Eze-Nna Trading Company, the largest merchant house in Umumma, a place that bought and sold everything from palm oil to imported fabric, from groundnuts to generator parts. The company had grown fat on the labor of men like Obidinma, men who came early, stayed late, and asked for nothing but fairness in return. For 6 years, Obidinma had been the best accounts clerk the company had ever employed. Everyone knew it. The customers knew it. They asked for him by name. His colleagues knew it. They brought their difficult calculations to his desk. Even the walls of the office seemed to know it. They had absorbed 6 years of his concentration, his careful handwriting, his quiet excellence. Everyone knew it, except the one man whose knowing would have changed everything. Chief Supervisor Adolphus Nweke. Adolphus Nweke was a man built like a question mark, slightly bent at the top, as if the weight of his own cunning had gradually pulled him forward. He had worked at Eze-Nna Trading Company for 22 years. He had not risen because he was brilliant. He had risen because he was patient. And because patient men in corrupt places eventually inherit everything the brilliant men are denied. He wore his authority the way a borrowed agbada is worn, too large, always slipping, constantly being rearranged. He had one weakness that everyone in the office knew about, but no one dared mention aloud. Her name was Nneka Eze. Nneka was the company's junior accounts officer, Obidinma's direct colleague, seated 3 desks away from him in the long accounts room. She was bright in the way a lamp is bright, warm, useful, noticed. She laughed easily. She wore her wrapper with the confidence of a woman who had decided some years ago that she owed the world nothing but her honest self. She was also deeply, quietly, and with great seriousness in love with Obidinma. Not the noisy love of songs and market gossip, the kind that grows slowly in the chest, like a tree that has decided it belongs exactly where it is rooted. She brought him ogiri pepper soup when he walked late. She saved the good chair when she arrived before him. When he got his figures right on a difficult account, which was always, she smiled at her own desk, privately, as if the victory were partly hers. Obidinma was not blind. He saw her. He felt the warmth of it. He was simply a man who believed that the work had to come first, that a man should build a floor before he invites anyone to stand on it. I will speak to her, he told himself, when I am promoted, when I have something solid to offer, when the floor is ready. He did not know that someone else had already decided the floor would never be built. Adolphus Nweke had noticed Nneka the way a hawk notices a weaver bird, with a patient, possessive attention that had nothing to do with love and everything to do with ownership. He had brought her groundnuts wrapped in newspaper. He had offered to drive her home on rainy evenings. He had found reasons to visit the accounts room 3 times more often than his work required, always pausing at her desk, always finding something to say that was almost a compliment, but not quite. One afternoon, he lingered at her desk longer than usual, turning a pen over in his fingers while she walked.
You know, Nika, a woman of your quality should not be sitting at a junior desk. I have been thinking about your career. I can't speak to the right people.
My career is doing well enough on its own merit, sir. Thank you.
Merits only take a person so far in this world. The rest requires connection, relationship, someone who believes in you.
I am grateful for your interest, sir. Will there be anything else regarding the quarterly returns? They are due by Thursday.
Thursday, yes. We will talk again.
Of course, sir.
She did not watch him leave, but 3 desks away, Obidinma had heard every word. He said nothing. He returned to his own column of figures, but his pen moved slightly slower for the rest of that afternoon. Neka was polite. She was always polite, but her politeness was the kind that keeps a door closed while appearing to leave it open. She had learned, as many women learn, that a firm no to a powerful man is a door that can be broken down, while a careful not today buys time without violence. What Adolfo saw from across the accounts room was simpler and more infuriating than any of this. He saw Neka smile at Obidinma. Not the careful, managed smile she gave everyone else. The real one. The one that started in the eyes. From that day, Adolphus Nweke made Obidinma Chukwu his private project. The first promotion came up in the 2nd year of Obidinma's employment, a senior accounts officer position, the kind of role that every clerk in the building had been quietly preparing for. The company posted the notice on a Thursday. By Friday, the office knew who deserved it. Everyone submitted their names. Obidinma's file was the thickest. 6 consecutive performance reviews marked outstanding. 3 commendations from the company's biggest clients. A record of 0 errors across 2 full audit cycles. In the corridor, the morning the notice went up, 2 colleagues stopped beside Obidinma at the notice board.
This one is yours, brother. Nobody in this building has your numbers.
We will see. The committee decides, not the numbers.
The committee has eyes, don't they? Your file speaks for itself.
Then I will let it speak. I have work to finish.
The promotion went to a man named Festus, a pleasant, adequate man who had been at the company for 9 years and whose greatest professional achievement was that he had never made Adolphus Nweke feel threatened. Festus received the promotion with the bewildered gratitude of a man who has been handed a trophy he did not know was being competed for. When the announcement was made, the accounts room went very quiet. Everyone looked at Obidinma, not at Festus. Obidinma looked up from his ledger. He met no one's eyes. He nodded once, slowly, as if confirming something he had suspected.
Obidinma, I want you to know I did not expect. Congratulations, Festus. You will do well. But your file. Congratulations. Perhaps next time, do better, be more visible, let the numbers speak louder.
He did not know that numbers are deaf when the listener has closed his ears. That evening, as the office emptied, Neka appeared at the edge of his desk. She set a small container of pepper soup down without ceremony.
Eat something.
I am not hungry.
You have been staring at the same column for 40 minutes. The column is not going to apologize to you.
It should. Festus.
I know.
His last audit had 4 errors. 4. I have had 0 in 2 years.
I know, Obidinma.
Then what am I missing? What is it that I am not doing?
Neka looked at him for a long moment. She wanted to say it. The name, the reason, the full shape of the thing. But she was not yet sure he was ready to hear it. And she was not sure that hearing it before he was ready would help him or simply wound him.
Keep working, keep your record clean, but start paying attention. Not just to the numbers, to everything else.
What do you mean?
You will understand when you are ready. Eat the pepper soup, it is still hot.
She left. He looked at the container for a moment. Then he opened it and ate. The second promotion came a year later. Senior manager of client accounts. A prestigious post, the kind that came with a private office and a seat at the quarterly directors' meeting. The entire company whispered Obidinma's name in the corridors. Even the managing director, old Chief Eze-Odu, had been heard asking, "That sharp boy in accounts, Obidinma, why has he not been moved up yet?" The question never reached Adolphus's desk in the form of an instruction. It arrived as a rumor. And Adolphus, who had spent 22 years learning how to manage rumors, strangled it quietly before it became a directive. Before the review meeting, Adolphus called Obidinma into his office.
Obidinma, sit. You know I have always valued your work.
Thank you, sir.
The senior manager position is a big role, a very visible role. I want to give you some advice, man to man, as someone who wants to see you succeed.
I am listening, sir.
You are brilliant at the numbers. Nobody disputes that. But senior management, it is not about numbers alone. It is about relationships, presence,
People skills. And frankly, there are people on the committee who feel you can be, how to say it, a little cold, a little too focused on your own work, not a team player.
I have trained 4 junior clerks in the past year, sir. I have resolved every interdepartmental accounts dispute that came to my desk. I stayed late every Friday last quarter to assist the Kano branch reconciliation.
Yes. On paper, yes. But paper and perception are two different things, my friend. I will do my best for you in the room. You have my word.
The word of Adolphus Nuike, Obidinma was beginning to understand, was a currency that bought nothing. In the review meeting, Adolphus presented Obidinma's file last, after 3 other candidates whose files he had presented first, longest, and with the most warmth. By the time Obidinma's name came up, the committee was tired and the decision was already half made. Impressive record, Adolphus said, in the tone of a man preparing to deliver bad news to someone who deserves good news. But perhaps a little isolated, does not demonstrate sufficient team leadership qualities. Brilliant individually, of course, but senior management requires a different kind of intelligence. The promotion went to a man from the Lagos branch, a man nobody in Umuma had met before, who arrived 3 weeks later with a briefcase and a confused expression and spent his first month asking Obidinma how things were done.
Obidinma, they tell me you know how the client reconciliation process works here. Can you walk me through it?
Sit down. I will show you from the beginning. Thank you.
The new manager sat. Obidinma opened his ledger and began to explain, clearly, completely, without bitterness in his voice, though the bitterness was there, deep and quiet like sediment at the bottom of still water. This time, Obidinma went home and sat in the dark for an hour. Then he rose, made himself a cup of tea, and returned to his ledger. The third time, even Obidinma's patience shook. It was the post of Deputy Financial Controller, the position directly below the Chief Financial Officer, the position that everyone, including Chief Eze-Odu himself, had pointed toward Obidinma in everything but words. The managing director had personally reviewed Obidinma's file. He had, by all accounts, already decided. But decisions that pass through Adolphus Nuike's office have a way of arriving at their destination, changed. In the end, the position went to Adolphus's own nephew, a boy so freshly graduated that the ink on his certificate had barely dried. A boy who did not know the difference between a balance sheet and a receipt. A boy who arrived on his first day and was seated in the office that should have been Obidinma's. The office with the window that faced the hills. Obidinma stood in the corridor outside that office for a long moment. He looked at the nameplate on the door. A colleague appeared beside him. Chike, one of the senior clerks, a man who had watched the whole pattern from close range.
Obidinma, don't. I'm just saying, I know what you are saying, Chike. I know. Not here.
That evening, Nneka found him still at his desk long after everyone had gone. She sat down across from him without asking if she could. She placed a small container of jollof rice on the corner of his desk. The good kind. The kind made with fresh tomatoes and patience. She said nothing for a long time. Neither did he. Finally.
You know why?
I know why.
What will you do?
Keep working.
Obidinma, there is a kind of stubbornness that looks like strength but is actually just a refusal to admit that the game is rigged.
Are you telling me to leave?
I am telling you to see clearly. There is a difference between a locked door and a door that does not exist.
How long have you known about Adolphus? About why?
Since the first promotion.
You knew since Festus.
I suspected since Festus. I knew since the Lagos man. I am sorry I did not tell you sooner. I did not want to be the one to. Some truths, when a person tells them, become that person's burden to carry. I wanted you to see it for yourself.
And if I had not seen it?
I would have told you. Eventually. I was not going to let you disappear quietly into someone else's design.
He looked at her for a long time. Not yet, he thought. Not until the floor is ready. He did not yet understand that she was not waiting for a floor. She was waiting for him to stop building in a house that did not belong to him. Adolphus Inweke was not a patient man by nature. He was a calculating one, which is different. Patient men wait because they trust that time will deliver what they deserve. Calculating men wait because they are preparing the next move. His next move came on a Tuesday in the dry season, when the air was thin and tempers were short, and the account room smelled of dust and overheating machines. He called Obidinma into his office alone.
Obidinma, sit down.
Sir.
You are a good worker. I have always said so.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, between us, I have been your greatest supporter in the review meetings. There are people above me who have questioned your readiness. I have always defended you.
I appreciate that, sir.
I want to help you further. There's a senior position opening in the northern branch. It is not here, it is in Kano, but it's a significant step up, a real opportunity. I can recommend you personally. Of course, for a recommendation of this kind, one requires a certain alignment of interests between recommender and recommended.
I am not sure I follow you, sir.
I think you follow me perfectly, Obidinma. You are a very intelligent man. That has never been in question. There are arrangements that benefit everyone. A man in my position can open doors, but doors require cooperation to open.
What kind of cooperation, sir?
The accounts room is a social place. Relationships form. Sometimes those relationships complicate things, create distractions.
A senior man in Kano has fewer distractions. He is free to focus entirely on his advancement. Do you understand me now?
I understand what you are offering, sir. Good, then we are.
I am declining.
Think carefully, Obidinma.
I have thought carefully, sir. For 3 years, I have thought carefully. I thought carefully through Festus's promotion, through the Lagos man's appointment,
Through your nephew's nameplate on the door that faced the hills. I have thought carefully enough.
You are making a mistake, a very serious mistake. A man without support in this company,
I have my record, sir. 6 years of it. Clean, complete, and copied. Good afternoon.
He did not slam the door. A man who slams doors gives the other man the satisfaction of knowing he has drawn blood. Obidinma closed it gently, with the quiet of a man who is already somewhere else in his mind. Outside in the corridor, Chike was passing with a stack of files. He saw Obidinma's face, something in it that he had not seen there before. Not anger, not fear. Something more dangerous than either. The settled look of a man who has made a decision.
Obidinma, how long have you been here, Chiki? 12 years. Why? In 12 years, have you ever seen the procurement ledgers reconcile perfectly with the delivery receipts?
Obidinma, be careful. Answer the question. No. Not once in 12 years.
That night, Obidinma walked to the river. Not to drown himself, though later when people told the story, some would say he looked like a man who was saying goodbye to something. He walked to the river because he had gone there as a child when things were too large for the house to contain, and the habit had never left him. He sat on the flat stone where he had sat since boyhood. The river moved in the darkness, patient, unhurried, indifferent to human trouble, in the way that only very old things can afford to be. He was not alone for long. Footsteps on the path. He knew them before he saw her.
Chike told me you left the office with a strange look.
Chick talks too much.
Chi cares. There is a difference. What happened in that office?
He offered me Kano.
In exchange for what?
You.
I was afraid it would come to that.
You knew he would.
I knew the direction he was walking. I did not know when he would arrive.
I declined. I am not going to Ken or Neka. And I am not going to stand aside. Not for him, not for anyone. But I am also finished waiting for the system to correct itself. I have been patient for 3 years. Patience is just another word for slow when the other person is moving fast.
What are you going to do?
What I have always done. Keep the ledger clean. All of it. Every fee, every discrepancy, everything.
Neka looked at him. She looked at his face in the darkness. The set of it, the stillness of it, the determination in it that was different from the stubborn determination she had watched him carry for years. This was not the determination of a man clinging to hope. This was the determination of a man who has found solid ground under his feet and knows exactly which direction to walk.
If you do this, it will not be quiet. People will lose their positions. There will be those who resent you for it. Are you prepared for that?
I have been sitting under a man's resentment for 3 years for a crime I did not commit. I am prepared for resentment that I have actually earned.
Then go home and sleep. You will need a clear head.
This is going to become complicated, Neneka. When it comes out, your name will be part of the story. People will talk. I cannot protect you from that.
I have been protecting myself from Adolphus Miki for 2 years. I do not need protecting, Obidinma. I need you to do what is right. The rest I can manage.
He looked at her for a long moment. Not yet, he thought again. But this time, for the first time, the floor felt close. He thought about his father, a school teacher who had pressed his shirt every morning for 30 years in a school that never gave him the headmaster position because the local government chairman's cousin needed the job more. His father had ironed those shirts every single morning anyway until the day he retired because he said, a man's standards are the one thing no one can promote or demote. He thought about Necker's words. There is a difference between a locked door and a door that does not exist. He thought about the 3 years, the ledgers, the clean figures, the errors that were never there, the commendations, the thick file. All of it offered faithfully to a building that had been built on a crooked foundation. And sitting by the river, in the dark, with the water moving past him the way time moves past a man who has been standing still too long, something settled in Obidinma Chukwu. Not defeat, not bitterness, something cleaner than either. Clarity. He knew what he was going to do. For the next 3 weeks, Obidinma came to work as he always had, early, pressed, precise. He greeted Adolphus with the same even courtesy. He completed every task assigned to him. He made no errors. One morning, Adolphus stopped at his desk, a casual stop, the kind designed to remind a man who holds the higher ground.
Obidinma, how are the quarterly figures coming?
On schedule, sir. I will have them to you by Wednesday.
Good, good. Have you given any more thought to our conversation?
I have given it exactly the attention it deserves, sir.
Wednesday. Then.
Wednesday, sir.
In the evenings, after the office emptied, he did something he had never done in 6 years of faithful employment. He began to build a record. Not of his own work. That record already existed, thick and clean in his performance file. A record of everything else. He had always been good with numbers. Numbers he understood do not lie, not when you arrange them honestly. And the accounts of Eze-Nna Trading Company, when arranged honestly, told a story that the company's directors had not been told. Procurement figures that did not match delivery receipts. Supplier invoices paid twice, once officially, once through a private account that Obidinma had noticed 3 years ago and had assumed was a simple error. Commissions recorded as expenses. Expenses recorded as investments. One late evening, Chiki appeared at the door of the empty accounts room. He looked at the papers spread across Obidinma's desk. He looked at Obidinma. He came in slowly and sat down.
How far back does it go? How far back do you think? At least 5 years, maybe 7. 8. The procurement discrepancies begin in the year Adolphus was made chief supervisor. They do not begin 1 year before. They do not begin 1 year after.
Obidinma, if this comes out, when this comes out,
He will not go quietly. He will look for someone to pull down with him.
Then I need to make sure there is nothing to pull down. Is there anything in your record he could use, Cheek? No. I have kept my hands clean, even when it cost me. Then we have nothing to fear. Is there anything I can do? Yes. The external auditing firm, Obidinma and Associates. I need to know if they are contracted independently or through the company's executive office.
I will find out.
Quietly.
Have you ever known me to be loud?
Three weeks of quiet, careful, meticulous work. By the end of it, Obidinma had a document that was 31 pages long. He made 3 copies. 1 copy went to Chief Ezudu, the managing director, delivered by hand in a sealed envelope on a Wednesday morning before Adolphus arrived. 1 copy went to the company's external auditors, posted that same Wednesday afternoon. 1 copy he kept. Then he returned to his desk and opened his ledger and continued working. The storm came on a Friday. Chief Ezudo arrived at 9 o'clock, not his usual 10:30. He arrived with 2 men from the auditing firm and a face like a sky before heavy rain. He walked past the accounts room without looking at anyone. He went directly to the executive corridor. He did not come out for 4 hours. By noon, the office was buzzing with a current that had no name yet, but that everyone could feel in their bones. The particular electricity of a large thing about to fall. In the accounts room, the whispers moved from desk to desk like water.
Did you see the
finding
auditors? 2 of them, with boxes.
Something big, something very big.
Do you think it is
Work.
At his desk, Obidinma worked. His face showed nothing. His pen moved steadily across the page. The page of a man who has already done what he came to do and is now simply waiting for the river to reach the sea. At 2 o'clock, Adolphus Onweke was called to Chief Ezedo's office. As he passed through the accounts room, he stopped at Obidinma's desk.
Obidinma,
Sir,
was it you?
was what me, sir?
We will talk.
I am here all day, sir.
He did not return to his own office that afternoon. By 4 o'clock, the 2 men from the auditing firm were seated in the accounts room with boxes, the cardboard kind, the kind that offices only produce when a serious excavation is about to begin. The room watched in collective silence as files were removed, labeled, and placed with careful precision into the boxes. One of the auditors paused at Obidinma's desk.
Obidinma Chukwu,
Yes.
your personal files will not be touched. We have been informed of the nature of your contribution. Thank you for the document. The work was thorough.
He moved on. Around the room, heads turned toward Obidinma. He said nothing. He did not look up. He continued walking. At 5 o'clock, Chief Ezudo himself appeared in the doorway of the accounts room. He looked around the room. His eyes found Obidinma.
Everyone go home. Obidinma, stay, please.
The room emptied. Chike was last to leave. As he passed Obidinma's desk, he put a hand briefly on his shoulder. He said nothing. He did not need to. Obidinma stayed. The conversation between Chief Ezeudo and Obidinma lasted 2 hours. Chief Ezeudo was an old man, 71, with the slow movements of a man who has learned that most urgency is false. But that evening, he sat across from Obidinma with the alertness of a much younger man. He had read the 31 pages. He asked Obidinma 3 questions. The first, how long have you known?
The discrepancies fully as a pattern about 3 weeks. The individual anomalies, 3 years. I told myself there were errors. I was telling myself what was comfortable.
Nods.
Why did you not come to me sooner?
Because I believed that if I worked hard enough, the right outcome would come on its own. That excellence was its own protection. I was wrong. Excellence without advocacy is just good work that someone else takes credit for, or buries. I'm sorry it took me 3 years to understand that.
And I am sorry it took me 3 years to look closely enough to ask. That is also a failure. Mine, not yours.
And what do you want?
I want what I have earned, sir. Nothing more. And I want it in a place where what I earn is the reason I receive it.
And if I told you that place is here, that I intend to make it so, would you believe me?
I would give you the opportunity to show me, sir. That is the most honest answer I can give.
Chief Ezeudo looked at him for a long time. The look of a man who has spent 71 years learning to tell the difference between a man who says what he means and a man who means what he says. He nodded. Once, slowly, the nod of a man making a decision he should have made years ago. Adolphus Onweke's suspension was announced on Monday morning. His nephew's appointment was quietly reversed within the week. The young man was redeployed to a junior position in a branch office far from the hills, where he could learn at a slower pace what an accounts ledger actually was. On a Tuesday morning, 6 weeks after that Friday storm, Obidinma was called to Chief Ezeudo's office again. Chief Ezeudo sat behind his desk. Beside him sat the company's board secretary, a woman named Mrs. Onwuka, with a document folder on her lap.
Obidinma, sit. I owe you an apology. This company failed you. I failed you. I am not a man who says that easily. But a man who cannot say it when it is true is a man who has decided comfort is worth more than honesty. I am not that man.
I appreciate that, sir. More than I can easily say. The position of Deputy Financial Controller is open. It was always yours. It should have been yours 3 years ago. The letter, please.
It is effective immediately, Mr. Chukwu. If you accept.
I accept.
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me yet. The accounts department is in a considerable mess. You will be working very hard.
I know, sir. I have been watching it for 3 years. I know exactly where to begin.
Yes, I believe you do.
That evening, Obidinma did not go home directly. He went to the accounts room, his old accounts room, where he had sat for 6 years at the third desk from the window. The room was empty at this hour. The evening light came through the louvers in long, dusty bars. He stood at his old desk. He opened the drawer, out of habit, and closed it again. Then he walked to Nneka's desk. She was still there. She was always still there at this hour. She was writing in a ledger, her pen moving with the careful confidence of a woman who has decided that the work is worth doing regardless of what surrounds it. She looked up when she heard him. She looked at his face. She knew.
So the floor is ready.
The floor is ready. I have been wanting to say something to you for a very long time. I kept waiting until I had something solid to offer.
Obidinma, I was not waiting for something solid. I was waiting for you to stop waiting.
3 years. I made you wait 3 years.
I kept count.
I am sorry, and I am asking. If you will let me, I had a speech prepared. At the river, I had it all arranged.
What happened to it?
I forgot it. I don't want to be without you, Nneka. I should have said that a long time ago. I am saying it now.
You took long enough. Come. You're buying me pepper soup, and you can deliver the rest of your speech on the way.
Pepper soup? All right, I'm coming. There is no rest of the speech. I told you, I forgot it.
Then you will have to make it up as you go. You are good with numbers, Obidinma, but some things cannot be calculated in advance.
Is that wisdom, or are you simply enjoying this?
Both.
They left the accounts room together. The empty desks watched them go. The ledgers said nothing. But if ledgers could smile, every single one in that room would have been smiling. In the town of Umuma, people still tell the story of Obidinma Chukwu, though, as with all stories that pass through many mouths, the details have shifted like river sand. Some say he exposed the fraud single-handedly, walking through the night by candlelight with nothing but a pencil and a sharp mind. Some say Chief Ezeudo wept when he read the 31 pages. Some say Adolphus Neke, in his disgrace, tried to have Obidinma removed, and that the attempt failed so completely that it only deepened his fall. What everyone agrees on is this: Obidinma became one of the finest financial controllers the company ever employed. Under his oversight, the accounts became a model that other companies in the region studied and tried to copy. He was known for 3 things above all others: his absolute precision and his absolute fairness. He promoted on merit. He documented everything. He left no room for the kind of shadows in which men like Adolphus had once thrived. He and Eneka married in the dry season, in a ceremony under the open sky, with the hills watching from every direction. They built a house near the river, not far from the flat stone where Obidinma had once sat in the dark, deciding who he was. One evening, years later, a young clerk came to Obidinma's office. A serious boy, sharp, diligent, frustrated. He had just been passed over for a promotion. The successful candidate had been the director's relative. The boy sat across from Obidinma with the look of a man deciding whether to keep going or to stop.
Sir, with respect, how do you stay? How do you keep working in a place that does not see you?
I will tell you what I wish someone had told me when I was sitting where you are sitting. Excellence is not enough.
Do you hear me? Excellence alone in a crooked place is just good work waiting to be stolen or buried.
Then what is enough? Excellence plus documentation. Excellence plus the courage to name what you see.
Excellence, plus the willingness to speak truth to the right person at the right moment with evidence in your hand. Keep your record clean. Keep the other record cleaner. And when the moment comes, do not hesitate.
And if the moment never comes, then you find a place where it will. A river does not stop being a river because someone has built a wall across its path.
It finds the crack, it widens the crack. But first, it has to know what it is. Do you know what you are?
I am the best clerk in that department. Then act like it. Go home, document everything, come back tomorrow. Do the work. The river is patient, my friend, but it always arrives.
Thank you, sir.
Obidinma turned back to his window. The hills sat in the evening light, broad, unhurried, unchanged. The river moved somewhere below them as it always had, as it always would. Adolphus Nweke left the town. Where he went, the story does not say, because the story, like all good rivers, is not interested in where the refuse ends up. It is interested in where the clean water flows. And the clean water flowed, as it always does, toward the light.